by getting Transcendent Wings, which is actually necessary if you want to try to do the Wing Karibo level 10 strategy, which isn't too much of a bad strategy. I've had decks with it before, but it can be a bit unpredictable because it works best whenever your opponent has like a ton of monsters just trying to beat you, and if that's not the case, then you're not gonna have any use for it. And so with that, here's a problem with these games. Oh, with this game. This game is really bad with duelist diversity. By that I mean, there are some duelists that you know you should be able to duel at some point, but for whatever reason they're just not unlocked, usually just because of an event. Some of them are pretty stupid, like Crowler here, you can't duel until you won the school duel registration thingy jigger, yeah. And Fontaine is not until after the school duel with North Academy, which is even more stupid because she's over there and spirits are probably going to start appearing over there. So she's more or less just in the way because spirits show up as unregistered duelists, and she's an unregistered duelist until you can duel her and register, which is ugh. And so now on to the duel at hand. Dr. Bellion Crowler. I almost call him Crowner. Well, let me just say, I can understand what that guy meant by Dimitri was a watered down version of this. Yeah, allow me to say one thing for sure. Crowler's deck is much better, not because the strategy's different, or monsters are really that much different. It's because he's gotten access to some really good cards, like Lightning Vortex, which in this game is allowed 3 copies per deck, and it's a really, really cheap card. Not quite as bad as Rajiki, but still, pretty bad. Then you got, I think a few more Ancient Gear support cards. And he has trap cards that are actually useful. He's just an overall much more annoying duelist. I can't tell you how many times I've lost to this guy just because he was able to pull off some cheap strategy that involves some broken card. And he's not really apt to register you either. He's just there. Now, here, Ancient Gear Factory is actually something to be afraid of, because what it does is he gets rid of some monsters in his graveyard out of play, or banished as they call it now. And then he can choose a tribute monster from his hand, which is probably going to be Ancient Gear Golem. And if you don't make him change his hand, then he'll be able to regularly summon it with no tributes the next turn. Now I believe this duel is just very, very quick because I was able to get a good draw on him and I was able to stop him any turn. And then I do what's gotta be one of my favorite things to do in a duel against computers in these games. Use a really weak monster, usually just like a flip effect monster like Morphing Jar or Hane, and beat him. Just really funny. Not quite as funny as what I am going to do in the next part with the mystery school duelist, for those of you who haven't seen the anime and know exactly who it is. And now what's this? This has happened before, and sure enough, it's happening again. The 3rd out of 4 Tyranno Hasselberry side events is happening. And he is not changed too much. To be honest, I don't even think you have to win any of these duels. You just gotta kind of be there, I guess. I'm surprised I was able to access this pretty early. I mean, I just beat him, didn't I? Now, just like the Crawler duel, this duel kind of went quickly because I got a good draw and he wasn't able to muster up anything till the last minute, but I had plenty of stuff to stop him then. But until this duel ends, and you get to see what I mean by that. Yeah, Tyrannal Hasselberry is kind of interesting, both as a character and in this game. In this game, you duel him 4 times before you're able to unlock him as a duelist, spoiler alert. The first 3 times are kind of random, because you have to see a marker outside your dorm and duel him, then an automatic duel, and then you have to see him outside the dorm again and duel him again. In the show, though, he wasn't really that likable to me. Because first off, he had a sergeant voice like this, and he yelled like this all the time. And that was kind of annoying to listen to nonstop. Also, there was just this really weird moment in the anime where I just kind of lost a lot of respect for him. You see, at this one point in the anime, during that weird light organization part of the series, when Jaden's dueling the main guy, there's this satellite problem, and so his space spirit, Elemental Hero Neos, goes out there, but the weird part is that Tyrannal Hasselberry, in the form of a dinosaur spirit, comes up and joins him. And then there's some crap given about Elemental Hero Neos saying, "You have the spirit of a dinosaur in you," or something like that. It was just a really strange part of the series that, ooh. I've heard Yu-Gi-Oh! Seal is set in space, but I don't think anything can top how weird that was. That was not really like a theme they shied away from. I mean, think about how, really most of the rest of GX was because of the whole Neos coming from space thing, and then all the Neospatians. Oh, and in case you haven't seen, or I haven't told you yet, Tyrann's done some really weird things in this duel. First off, when he used Graceful Charity, he discarded 2 cards, which were very important to his deck, Superconductor Tyranno and Ultimate Tyranno. Guess he didn't have any card to bring him out. And then he used one of his dinosaur-specific cards that can really tear the game up if he can use them. So, yeah, now I'm kind of stuck wondering what the heck do I do. I mean, I do have the Magic Cylinder working for me, but he doesn't really have any monster that I can beat him with, so I just have to take some hits like a champ. So he just keeps on hitting me with that Black Stego. Can't really do much, and it's not like I can attack it if I was able to get a monster strong enough, because it can go in defense anytime. And so now I was kind of afraid and yet hoping at the same time that he wouldn't bring out Ultimate Tyranno or Superconductor Tyranno. Because if he did bring him out, then if Magic Cylinder doesn't work, nothing will work, and I'll probably lose the duel. But if he doesn't bring him out and it's not destroyed, then I win the duel. And sure enough, he brings out Superconductor Tyranno, attacks, and allows me to win a 3rd duel. The 4th duel against him, you don't actually do for a while. I'm talking a very long time into the game. It doesn't happen. And yeah, this part is kind of short. Well, I say kinda short, and I got it out to a good 13 minutes even. I mean even, I'm looking at the counter right now. It says 13 minutes, 0 seconds, 0 hundredths, and tenths of a second. Pretty impressive if you ask me. I don't know how. So yeah, I've decided to make this part kind of like a TV show and just end it off on a cliffhanger after having some exposition. Because I remember this next event taking a lot of time to get started, and then the event itself is pretty long, so I kind of split it up over 2 parts. And Tyranno is officially leaving the island until next year. Now, if I haven't explained it, or if I've already changed my costume, allow me to explain why I have, or possibly have, a raw yellow jacket on. You see, in the game, you're not allowed to change dorms, but you can do the next best thing, which is get the uniform. Oh yeah, I do believe I show all the duels I've got registered and stuff. So I've got pretty much everyone except Crowler. I even got Professor Sater, and that's saying something, because he's really odd. That's exactly why I have the raw yellow jacket. Oh, in case you haven't noticed, there are some duelists who've changed their decks. I'll probably just put in the description of when they changed their decks. Can't believe I didn't think about doing it sooner. I didn't want to show off all the duels for trainers who have changed their deck. Especially in the after game, because duelists carry around like 2 or 3 different decks. They just change at random. So like I was saying about Professor Sater, he gives you his gift first, which is really odd considering most people will register you before they give you any gift. So I have a Royale jacket on, and I decide to put it on. You're not able to get Obelisk blue jackets until post-game, sadly. Whenever you've more than proven yourself against Obelisk blue students. And so we finally get to enter Jazz. Jazz it up? I did like that part because it introduced one of my favorite strategies, the Armed Dragon. But yeah, jazz it up, kind of annoying. And next time I'll probably explain what happens in Duel Academy.